Welcome everybody to the July Westbank Real Estate Investors Meetup. Super excited. First of all, thank everybody for coming out to Investor Fest. If you were able to come to Investor Fest, that was probably one of the biggest turnouts that we had since we've been doing it. Thank you, Arpin, for being a sponsor. Give Arpin a round of applause for being a sponsor, always being helpful. So tonight we have Christian Sullivan. I am excited about this interview. So I think I told you on the phone, our first email, I think, was back in 2018. You emailed me about a vacant lot that we had on Feliciana in the Ninth Ward while you were building and buying way back when. So this is a relationship that's going on, almost nearly
7 years now.
Yeah, yep. And what I want to commend you on and what I'm excited to talk about today, number one, is your consistency, your tenacity, your transparency, and your longevity in this business. So today I kind of want to develop a master class on what it looks like to not only get into this industry, but stay in this industry, which we see so many people come and go. And I think the way that you actually build a successful career is staying over a long period of time. So without further ado, everybody, I want you to put your hands together for Christian Sullivan.
Thanks, guys.
So you have a unique story, Christian. How did you even get into the real estate industry? Let's take it back.
So it's a long and winding road. How it started was in 1991. I got a job in the mortgage industry, right? A friend of mine said, "Hey, I think you'd be good at hawking loans." And I'm like, "Okay." So I went to work for a bank as a wholesale rep. Back in those days, banks, what you would do is, because everyone was brokers, there were no super lenders like Ditech or Greenlight or Loan Depot or any of those companies. They weren't around. There was one, it was Countrywide. So what you would do is you would go out to all of the brokers in the area and you get in front of them and say, "Hey, I want your loans. I want you to give me your loans. I'm going to give you better service than anybody else. I'm going to help you fund your loans. We're going to walk these through and get these things done for you." By doing that, that's where the tenacity comes from, building up the fact that when you get a loan, you have to perform, because if you don't perform, when you walk back into that office, they're going to say, "Oh, there's that guy that didn't get the loan done for me." So you've got to realize, when you're performing for a large group of people over different offices, you have to be the number one thing I want to get through tonight is this, is being of service. If you're of service, no matter what you do, you're going to be successful. By being of service, what that means is go with your client to do a rezoning. We were just talking about this. That way, you don't have to go do a rezoning with a client, or you don't have to, walk somebody go to their lot and say, "Hey, is this a good lot to buy?" or whatever. You don't have to do that. But if you do that, people will remember you and they'll call upon you all the time in the future. So do the things that people don't usually do, and be of service, and be willing to go the extra mile for people. Those two things are going to help you with longevity in this industry. By that, I mean, if you've got somebody that wants to, how many are wholesalers here? Okay. How many are loan officers? Okay. How many are construction? Okay. So we've got a mixed bag of people here. So in each industry, if you go the extra mile with each relationship, you're going to build friendships and working relationships. Somebody will call upon you for something that you don't know of. Just for example, let's say you don't know how to do a zoning. If you help somebody out with zoning, or helping them with one of the problems they have, that's adding a skill set to your quiver or your arsenal. It's adding more knowledge to your knowledge database. And therefore, that person will say to somebody else, "Hey, Christian helped me out with this," or "Emil helped me out with this." That way, they'll call you, and you'll also be an expert in that particular field. So back to where we started. The mortgage industry is where my base was. Then from the mortgage industry, I went into appraising, and we did appraising for 10 years. During the appraising, I started buying properties and fixing them up. After buying the properties and fixing them up, I decided to hold them. Then I became a property manager. Well, I didn't want to pay construction guys, so I became a contractor. So I became an expert in the real estate field by doing a lot of things over and over and over and over again. So my biggest takeaway from this is there's so much to know in the real estate industry. It's going to take a lifetime to learn it. So always be looking to increase your skill set in every avenue of the real estate industry because there's a lot of them.
Yep. Where and when was this that everything you were doing? Because it wasn't here, right? You started off.
No, I started off in California in 1991, and I worked in California till 1994, 95. Then at that time, what we did is, I don't know if all of you guys remember the 125 loan. Does anyone remember the 125 loan? So the 125 loan was this crazy loan that would lend you up to 125% of the value of your home. So you'd have a first mortgage, and then they would give you a second mortgage up to $40,000. This was an awesome mortgage. We made a ton of money. We were doing these every single night. I got my notary license, and this is, again, adding more information and adding more expertise. I got my notary license, so my officer said, hey, you go out and sign these people in their homes every single night. I was signing 4 and 5 deals every single night. So I became an expert at reading the loan documents, trying to convince people that 16.99% APR wasn't a lot. So, but again, it was equivalent for you're lending up to 125% of the value of the home. Right? So that was from 95 to 98. And then I went where, I don't know if you guys remember Ditech funding. Ditech was one of the biggest lenders in the country. We started in 1998 there and finished in 2003. When we started, there was 22 of us. And when I left, there was 3,000. So we were doing 3,000 loans a month. Then we went to 6,000, then went to 8,000 loans a month. So when you're doing 8,000 loans a month, you're in a crash course of learning. So you've seen every problem that can come down the pike. You saw it last week. You saw it yesterday. This is a new one. I've never seen this before, but the mass volume helped me understand the psychology of buying, selling, and owning real estate, because there's a psychology to real estate. You can kind of look at the ebbs and flows of real estate. This is how real estate works, in my opinion, from what I've seen. People will buy a new house. They will barely qualify for that house. Okay? And then what they'll do is they'll buy a couch, they'll buy a TV, they'll buy new appliances, they'll buy a new car. Now they have $25,000 in debt and their mortgage, and they're like, hey, we need to refinance our house. So we've got equity now. Now we're going to refinance our house. They'll do that 2 times over a 6 to 7 year span. And then at that time, they'll either sell their house, they'll either be okay, or they'll go into foreclosure. One of the 3. And this is a cycle, and it keeps playing out over and over and over and over again. This is where wholesalers come in. This is where anybody that's hungry in this down market that we're in right now, you guys should be super active, because right now, the pain level that people have out there is tremendous. Who's had a real easy last 3 years? Nobody. Okay, you're not alone. Everybody that owns a home out there right now, if you're a wholesaler, pick it up. There's a lot of people that are feeling a lot of pressure. People hang on until they can't hang on. This is what's being in the industry for 31 years tells me, because I've seen it all. And it's a cycle. The cycle's about to bottom out here in the next 3 to 4 months, maybe 5 months. The only thing saving us, like I was saying earlier on, is the 2.5 to 5%. There's no way out. At 2.5 to 5% interest rate, you're getting the best deal that you possibly can. And you've got a little bit of equity in your home, and you're trying to sell it, and you can't sell it. So you're hanging on for as long as you possibly can. But that pain's coming. and it's coming very quick because there's no relief in sight.
What did you learn during that time pushing out 8,000 loans a month? And what comes to mind, I don't know if you ever seen the movie The Big Short. There was a scene when they went down to Miami. They were talking to the loan officers, and they were like, yeah.
I'll tell you about The Big Short because I watched it and I said, no. So The Big Short, I will be 100%. So The Big Short was it wasn't caused by bad mortgages. It was caused by negative amortization, but what it really was caused by was Fannie Mae Loan Prospector. Okay. Does everyone know what Fannie Mae Loan Prospector is? Okay. So if you're in the mortgage industry, it's called Fannie Mae Loan Prospector. I'm the loan rep. You're going to call me. I'm going to take your application and I'm going to say, boom, I'm going to hit the button afterwards. I'm going to say, you're approved. Okay. I need these items here. And that's it. Have a great day. So Fannie Mae Loan Prospector was rolled out at DiTech Funding in 1998. We were the guinea pig. So I was doing loans in 3 and 4 days. From call to finish. 3 and 4 days. With a 3-day right of rescission. Do you guys understand how fast that is? So what was happening was we were doing 8,000 loans a month. We were doing so many loans. And then this became industry standard to do Fannie Mae loan prospecting. Back in the day, it was a lady or a guy sitting at his desk, going through the loan piece by piece, looking at everything, making sure it was good, because I went out and I got that loan from a broker who had already put it together, and I brought it into our office. They would underwrite it by hand. They would give me a list of conditions, and it would take a month to do. When Loan Prospector came out, it escalated everything. The massive amount of loans that were done between 1998 and 2006 were incredible. It was unbelievable how many loans were being done. So it was just the sheer volume, and it was so easy to get a loan. And then it was also the negative amortization loans. But during that time, from after we did all of that in The Big Short, I was watching, because I started my own appraisal company from 2001 to 2006. We're doing appraisals, and I'm watching the values escalate. And I'm like, hold on, we just did an appraisal in that brand new tract last week, and the purchase price was $425. They're asking for $525 this week. I said, that's 2 weeks. I said, this isn't sustainable. I said, this is crazy. And so I was watching it go up and up and up. And in 2007, I said to my wife, we're selling everything we own.
What was the indicator? What made you say that?
Because I was like, this is not sustainable. This is unreal. People are getting loans on fairy dust. Like they say in The Wolf of Wall Street. It was fugazi. It was not real. None of it was real. And you're like, this is incredible. It was escalating like this. Not like this. It was like this, which is crazy. In the real estate industry, it probably had the largest increase in value from 2002 to 2006 that I've ever seen. It was just insane. So I saw it coming. I sold everything I could. I cashed out, and then it crashed.
Yeah.
So that was because I had done the 125s, the regular 30-year fixed. I watched the neg ams. I was doing appraisals. I had bought a few houses. I had fixed up a few houses, and I had sold a few houses. So I had a giant overview. Like right now, I'm in property management, and I'm also in real estate. We property manage over about 100 homes. So I'm seeing what's going on with my rent payments every month. So when rent payments come in and they start to be late with 1, 2, 3, 6, 10, 12 people that were never late before, you can start to think to yourself, well, what's going on? Is the economy not good, or people will hang on until they can't hang on, and then it all goes bad. So if you're a wholesaler, again, start getting active. Get out there. Start putting your feelers out. This is a great time to be active. If you're a flipper, look for deals. There's a lot of pressure out there. There's a lot of people out there that will make you a really good deal because they're hurting bad. And no one wants to talk about it. Okay? Do you guys talk with your friends about your finances?
Mostly just in this room at the meetups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm what my wife calls is embarrassingly forward when it comes to talking about finances with people, because that's been my business for a long time. And I'm asking, how's it going? It's going good. Is it? Is it really? I haven't seen you go on vacation. Are you doing okay? What can we do? Because I try to help as many people as I can, because I think I have a little bit better bead on things than most people do. And most people don't want to say, I'm not doing well. But there are a lot of people out there that aren't doing well right now, because it's been, let's be honest, what, 3 years? The market has not been good for 3 years. And there's really nothing I can really point to that says that it's going to get better in the next 2 or 3 months. And I think right now we're looking at one of those times where this is where it starts to go bad a little bit.
So how did you end up in Louisiana? So you build up this knowledge base in California. Then you end up jumping to, you still didn't make a beeline straight to Louisiana. You had another, what did you stop?
I was in Nevada for a number of years.
Vegas?
Then I got married, and then my wife loved
beignets?
No, she didn't like beignets. She loved watching HGTV, right? And so she's like, well, we could do that. And then the hurricane hit. She
Which
goes, well,
one? Which hurricane?
This is Katrina.
Okay.
So she goes, let's go down there and take a look. So we came down and we toured St. Bernard Parish. I was like, oh, shit, that's bad. Right? And then we started looking around. People were like, we'll sell you my house. I'll sell you my house for $30,000. You know, I'm from California at that time. And, you know, average price of a house is $350,000. And I'm like, that's a nice house for $30,000. I could fix it up. Do you think you could fix it up? I think I could. And then so we bought 4 houses in Miro, right? And we fixed them up in 2006, 2007. And then we bought a couple doubles over behind Home Depot, and we fixed those up. We were living in English Turn, which was a bad mistake. That was terrible idea. But so then we started fixing up houses in St. Bernard, and then the market went really bad, right? At this whole time, I had the appraisal management company, so we had a stable income, and my wife got a job with, I forget the name of the company, but she was working for FEMA, doing appraisals. She was doing like 9 appraisals a day, right? So she was making good money. I was making good money. We were throwing it into real estate. So we did, again, a crash course. We did 4 houses in 6 months, which is fast.
You talking about appraisals or flips?
Flips.
Okay.
So we fixed up 4 houses in 6 months. And then I paid this lady, and I'm like, why am I paying you to sell these houses? I'll get my real estate license. So I got my real estate license, and then we did a couple more flips. And then things were not really great. And we weren't having a real good time selling. We were making maybe $15,000 on a flip, maybe $20,000 on a flip, which for all of the work wasn't a lot of money. And I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. So at that time, Las Vegas just really, it crashed. So Las Vegas was selling houses for $89,000 that were $300,000. And I'd lived in Las Vegas before, and I liked Las Vegas. And I'm like, well, let's go to Las Vegas. So we went to Las Vegas. We fixed up a few houses, but with the intent of holding them and renting them, because the mortgages were $650 at $89,000. You know, principal, interest, tax, insurance. You're at less than $1,000, and you can get $1,200 a month rent. So they all penciled, right? So we did that, and we were living there for a number of years. And then I'll share the story. I got sued by Kamala Harris.
The presidential?
The what?
Tell us that story.
The vice president. Yes. I got sued by Kamala Harris in the state of California.
Yeah.
So what happened in 2011 was is she thought it'd be a great idea to put some pelts on the wall for the mortgage meltdown, just like The Big Short, right? In The Big Short, someone's to blame, right? Well, who's to blame in a real estate transaction if it goes bad? The person with E&O insurance that's still employed. That's who's to blame. So the lender was no longer available. The real estate agent didn't have E&O insurance in the state of California, was not liable for overvaluing a property. The appraiser was. So she said to me, or her office said to me in the kindest way possible, give me $50,000 and we won't suspend your license. So that did not sit very well with me. So I paid the $50,000 and I said, I don't like this. I don't like it. And also, I was sued by Fannie and Freddie about, I don't know, numerous amounts of times because, again, they were looking for scapegoats to help pay off the mortgages that were gone, that went bad, right? So I did the appraisal. I have E&O insurance. You must have done a fraudulent appraisal. We reviewed the appraisals. I won all of those cases except for one, which was settled. They said, we want to settle for $40,000. I'm like, I don't want to settle. I was completely correct. But the deal was this. It was after the mortgage meltdown, the only person left standing. The lenders all went out of business. The banks all went out of business. The banks just sold everything off to a clearinghouse. So what happened was if you owned $1 billion worth of mortgages, you could sell those pennies on the dollar because the government paid you off. So you sold them to somebody in Texas that bought $4 billion worth of mortgages for $100,000. And then what they did is they went out and sued everybody involved with those mortgages until they got a claim. It's a great business. Had I known, I might have done that. But that's what happened. So at that point, I was like, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to go back to Louisiana. I'm going to build some houses. So I came back here to Louisiana.
Timestamp this for us. So now what year?
This is 2012.
Okay. So you came back, you building from 06 to 8.
I just figured, you know what? We've got a good amount of rentals. Let's go back to Louisiana.
Okay.
Probably pick up a couple of nice rentals for cheap. We'll fix them up, rent them out. So my wife got a job with the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals because she was working with the state of Nevada Attorney General. She got her license. She got out of being an appraiser because she was also an appraiser. And she wanted to go into the legal field because she was very irritated about being sued. So she got a job. We moved back down here. And again, rentals are the way to go for me. I like rental properties because if you're looking for a good rate of return on a property and you can get 12, 15%, you can't get that in other states. This state is really, really good at ROI, in my opinion. Return on investment in this state is much higher than it is in other states. State of California, you're looking at a 4. If you buy in Nevada at the right time, you're looking at a 12 to 15, which is really good. You can't do it anymore. But Louisiana, still in that market where you can get a really good rate of return, right? So we decided luckily the guys that I worked for back in 2000 or back in the 90s, still really good friends of mine, very successful. They said, let's buy and sell some houses down there. So they were my money guys. We built a little real estate trust there. We had 35 houses that we picked up from auctions, wholesalers. We built a few, etc. Built a really good REIT, right? Real estate trust. That's a REIT. A real estate investment trust, sorry. So we were doing that. I started selling a lot of houses. We sold, from 2015 to 2021, I sold about 54 houses a month. A year, sorry. So really good at sales. We picked up a lot of rentals. Again, the volume was there. A lot of transactions, a lot of meeting, a lot of talking to people. Didn't burn any bridges. Tried not to steer anybody wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one of the things that I think I bring to the table is I can evaluate. Asset valuation is probably your biggest ace in the hole. So get really good at valuing an asset because a lot of people, how do you guys value an asset? Do you guys do price per square foot?
So you approach it with the after repair value is price per square foot, then probably on the construction side, what it'll cost me price per square foot to construct it, and then reverse engineer from that, subtract everything down and what I want to make on it after that.
Exactly. Okay. So being an appraiser gives you a little bit of a leg up, right? Because you're talking about the laws of attribution. Also, you're looking at properties that have functional obsolescence that are never going to be good, right? So if you've got a property that's a really good buy, but it's right next to a railroad track and it's got a really funky floor plan, pass.
Is that considered functional?
That's functional obsolescence. That's something that you can't fix. You cannot fix a railroad track behind the property, right? So unless they're going to reroute that railroad track's always going to be there. So the fact that the property's $10,000 shouldn't even calculate into the equation.
So when you look at a wholesale deal, you mean to tell me you're not just looking at the ARV in the area?
Yep.
You're looking at it from a top-down view,
Yep.
what's around it,
Yep.
what could be a hindrance for it
Yep.
to be rented or sold.
Yep.
That's interesting. So functional obsolescence, and what was the other?
Laws of attribution.
And what is that?
So let's say someone says, I want to sell you a lot for $10,000, but it's on the Arpent Canal, which is I live on the Arpent Canal. I'm not just saying it because I live there, but it's got a nice green in your backyard. You got a little river that runs down it. It's got a nice walking path. You can wake up in the morning and drink your coffee and look at green. This is a plus in my opinion. I like it. So therefore I think other people might like that, right? Or if it's a corner lot, everybody likes a corner lot because they have no neighbor to their right or to their left. So these are things that you need to take into account when you're looking at a property or looking at a deal or trying to figure between two deals. Look at the deal from a consumer perspective, not from how much it's costing you. So I bought more expensive property because I think it's better, because I think that the overall demand for this property is going to be greater. So if I put a nice house on this property as opposed to this property, this one cost me $50,000, this one cost me $20,000, but I'm going to get 5 more buyers that are going to be more interested in this property. Am I going to make more money? Maybe, but I'm going to make money because someone's going to buy this property. I'm not worrying that someone like this property? I know people will like this property. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You guys picking up? So if you want to pay a little bit more for a premium lot or a premium house, don't be afraid to do that. Okay. And when I'm talking about laws of attribution, so a 2-bed, 1-bath. Do we like 2-bed, 1-baths?
For rent or for sale?
Either way.
It's difficult on the rental side for sure.
We don't like 2-bed,
Mm-hmm.
1-bath.
Mm-hmm.
We like 2-bed, 2-bath because if you've got a roommate, you don't want to share the bathroom with them. Now I can get more rent because you can have 2 roommates in the house that have their own bathroom, and that's going to get me maybe $150 to $200 more for that property, right? So I'm not making $1,100, I'm making $1,300, which will make my ROI a little bit higher. Okay, we like 3 beds, 2 baths. We really like 4 beds, 3 baths. But then you start getting into too big, right? So the sweet spot is the 3-bed, 2-bath, unless you're in a different neighborhood, which is a more family-centric neighborhood. But when you look at the laws of attribution, you want to look at floor plans, bed bath count, location, curb appeal. Are we the best house on the block or are we the worst house on the block? We want to buy the worst house on the block with the greatest ability to be renovated into one of the better houses. We don't want to buy the best house on any block. We don't want to do that. We're not paying for someone else's work. We don't want to do that at all. The price per square foot it's like a beginner, very generic way to do this. If I could say to anybody here, even if you're not going to be an appraiser, take some appraisal courses. It'll really, really help you with your business. I have a partner that I worked with for a number of years. He worked for me for 10 years, left me, went out, became a real estate agent, got his brokerage. Now he's one of the most successful brokers in Long Beach, California. And he credits it all to his appraisal background because he can look at a property and tell you what it's worth within 5 minutes. Doesn't need to pull comps because he knows the area. If you know the area and you know what you're doing as far as appraising, you can tell what something's worth very, very quickly. This may help you get a great deal. It may help you not get a bad deal. And that's the most important thing, is not getting a bad deal.
So if I'm a wholesaler, I'm a flipper, crash course real quick and dirty, what are the quick metrics that you look at as an appraiser with that lens to value properties that maybe other untrained or people that are not trained as an appraiser look at?
Bed bath count.
Okay.
Location. Intrinsic value. As far as we have a lot of really beautiful designs in this city, right? Older designs. But with that, if you're going to do it right and make it look like it used to look, it's going to be very costly, right? Are we looking for painting brick? Or are we looking for redo hardy and found the entire house with the crown and making it look really good and doing all the windows and spending $20,000 on making it look nice as opposed to painting it and putting up a pair of really cheap shutters that may dress it up and make it look really nice? Do you understand what I'm saying there? Is just because it looks better doesn't mean it's going to cost. It's going to cost you to make it look like it used to, especially around here. I learned that in my first couple of flips. I bought a couple of really nice old shotguns that were really cool, but it cost me an arm and a leg to redo them to make them look right.
Yep.
Right?
And what else? So if I'm a wholesaler, I'm in mid-city, I'm looking at a vacant
location, what's next door to it? Is the person that's going to, are you going to be able to get this off your books by, it's a great little property that could be fixed up, but next door, you got a crack house. Next door is another crack house. Next door is another crack house. Across the street, you've got 5 guys playing cards. Half my stuff's going to get stolen when I come in to try to redo this. So you can get that under contract and you can try to sell it to somebody like me, but I'm going to drive up there and I'm going to look at it. And I'm like, I'm going to spend $100,000 to get it, another $150,000 to fix it up. And then I'm going to have to try to convince someone to buy it for $400,000 next to a couple other houses, right? So be hard on them. Make sure you lay that out to them. Well, I want this. I don't care what you want. This is what you're faced with. These are your attributing factors to this property, okay? This is your location. These are the houses around you. It's drawing your value way down. Be brutal. Be brutal if you're a wholesaler. I know, someone else might get the deal, but that deal's probably going to fall through because he's not going to be able to come through and sell it, right? But be brutal and be ruthless. Know your facts. Say, hey, this is what's sold. This is what's sold. Your house doesn't look like any of these houses.
So last question on value, what about comps? So those are the intrinsic value that you talked about, not only price per square foot, what's around it, what does it look like to the end buyer? So how are you looking down at the paperwork?
As many pictures as I can possibly look at online.
Of comparables around
it? The comparables around line. Do a deep dive. Look at the sales. Open up all of those sales on Redfin or Realtor.com. There's 1,000 pictures of every sale. If it's a recorded sale out there and using it as a comp, there's 100 pictures online. Right? And are you looking at real hardwood floors that have been restored with 12-foot ceilings and crown molding and beautiful salvage doors? Or are you looking at 8-foot doors with 10-foot ceilings that don't have any crown molding? Right? Look at the actual condition of the property. Don't just say, don't do this to yourself, because I've done this to myself in the past. I've fabricated a belief that my house was as good as another house based off the fact that I wanted it to be, and it wasn't. Right? So when you're looking at 12-foot ceilings, go, they got 12-foot ceilings. We got 8-foot ceilings. Okay? They have 8-foot doors with transoms. We don't. So are you comparable? No, you're not. They have real hardwood floors that have been restored. I have linoleum. Be honest. If you want to make money and you want to last and you want to do this for an extended period of time, okay, who's seen Jerry Maguire? Okay. When we got together, we agreed on brutal honesty, was her quote. I use it all the time. My friends are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you got to be brutally honest with yourself and everybody that you deal with. Sometimes you're going to lose a friend or lose a client, but be brutally honest. You're not doing anybody a favor by saying, hey, I'm going to list your house for $900,000 when you know it's worth $700,000. So then you're going to take that long road of 880, 860, 800, and they're going to be disappointed all the way down. Be brutally honest. When you're talking to somebody in wholesale, say, hey, listen, I know you want $80,000 for your house, but this, and this, I'm looking at the comparables that is sold. Okay, this is what they're looking at. You have a net 10-foot ceilings in your house. You have 8-foot ceilings. These comps that have sold for 300, he put $150,000 into it. Plus, you got to pay him for the work. But he's got 12-foot ceilings. You got 8-foot ceilings. We're not comparing apples to apples here. So when you're going for a wholesale deal, when you know what the comps look like, and you know why their house is worth less, brutalize them with it.
And what about how are you educating your clients on the property management side? So even if we are comparing apples to apples, I have a duplex on this street. The other duplex on this street is getting $1,650. I'm expecting to get $1,650 because mine looks the same. But we looked at the comps in January, but they came on as a client in March, and rents not the same. How you comping for rental properties?
Pictures. Say, this is what this person is doing right now. This is what you have. This is what they're getting right now. But the rental side isn't that difficult because 9 times out of 10 when we're getting a client, they're under market. They really are, because they really don't know the market like we know the market. When you have 100 properties that you're managing, you have a really good finger on the pulse of what's going on in the area. And hey, that street is $1,250 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Your street's $1,150. Why is your street $1,150? How do you park? Is your parking easy? No? Okay. There's nowhere to park. It's a very crowded street. It's a little bit less than the other street. We have, again, it's like appraising. You bring the good and the bad news. And don't be afraid to give people bad news. Bad news may be one of your best tools to sales ever. It really is. Bad news gets them prepared for reality. If you want to throw smoke and sunshine at people all day long, awesome. I'm not in the business of listing properties, of listing rentals. I'm in the business of getting rentals rented and selling properties. Okay, you're not going to do that by creating a false narrative in anybody's head.
What's your approach to delivering bad news? Because it feels like we get more bad news in the real estate business.
I got
than
bad
good
news.
Yeah.
But the best thing is you're still alive.
That's how you that's how you package it.
Now you package it like that. Hey, it's not the end of the world. We'll make it up on the next transaction. What we're going to do is we're going to get this done. Okay, we're going to find you a better deal where you can make money, or your money can sit here and do nothing for you for the next 8 months, or we can get you out of this fiasco and into a property that's going to make you money. Let's go look for that. Or you can sit here and every night when you go to sleep, your stomach will hurt. It's up to you.
What's your approach to building a team? So we see that you still try to bring in as much in-house as you personally, but you still can't do everything. So from California to Nevada, Louisiana, what's your approach to building a team?
I have 5 partners. Okay. Mike and I are partners in the real estate. He's my broker and he's my partner in the property management. I have another partner that is my partner in my real estate trust. This is a guy I've known for 35 years. I have another partner that is my money lender. Okay, I've known him for 35 years. I have another partner that I deal with rentals in Las Vegas with. I've known him for 25 years. I have a couple other guys I deal with mortgage that I've been doing business with for a long time. As many partners as you can get, the better. As many people that you can talk to about real estate in a single day, that's the better you're going to do, because you're going to check in with 4 people every single day, and you're going to talk to them about what's going on every single day, and they're going to tell you something that you didn't think of. The more you immerse yourself in the industry and with people that know what they're doing, the better off you are. So find someone that you can partner up with doing wholesale. Find someone that you can partner up with construction. Find someone you can partner up with real estate. Find someone you can partner up with whatever you're doing. That's what I said. And be an expert. One of the things that I think make me an expert is because I'm doing volume. I'm doing a lot of volume on the real estate side when it comes to property management, but we're selling a lot and we're buying a lot when that comes to. So I know what's going on. And one of the reasons why I think things are getting worse but getting better is those of you that are in the real estate industry, how much is a 2x4 today? Does anybody know how much a regular 8-foot 2x4 is? Okay. You should be able to know what a 2x4 is. You should know what a piece of plywood costs. You should know what a piece of drywall costs. You should know what paint costs. Because if you're in a wholesale or you're in construction, you should know what costs are off the top of your head. Because if you walk through a property and you have an opportunity and it's a real quick, I'm going to walk through this place, take mental notes as you're going through, you can start to add up what this deal is going to cost you. So you can get a running total real quick. So be very cognizant of what materials cost. Materials have changed dramatically over the last 3 years. At the height of COVID, you were paying $62 for a sheet of 3/4 plywood. Now it's down to $22 again. That leads me to believe that prices are coming down, but I see it coming down with flooring, plumbing, lumber, roofing, and a number of other things. Coming down slightly. Lumber's way down. So when lumber comes down like this, you start to think to yourself, okay, the cost to build is coming way down. Is it time to build? Almost. So if you're cognizant of what things cost, you can say, reverse engineer, like you talked about. It's going to cost me this much to build this house. I can sell this house at a profit right now. There was a small portion of time when you couldn't sell a house for a profit. Even if, no matter if you did everything right, if you built during the COVID, you could not make a profit because the prices were too high and people built anyways. And they ended up, the way the prices came down, they were at a break even. I sold 5 break evens in the last 6 months where they broke even or lost $5,000 to $7,000. Those are painful lessons. But we still have a lot of inventory out there that are COVID builds. And when I say COVID builds, they've been how many of you guys know that houses have been on the market for 3 years? Have you seen houses 4 years, 3 years, 2 years? There's a number of houses out there right now that have been on the market for an extended period of time. They're never going to sell for the price that they're asking because they spent too much money to build them. And until we get rid of that type of inventory, it can't really sell the new houses to be built.
Two other questions. I've had people tell me that right now they're getting appraisals on flips and appraisers can't even find comps to appraise. So if I'm looking to purchase a flip right now, what is your advice if I'm looking to buy it and I got to go back 2 years to get a comp, but if it's going to take me 6 months, 6 months to
I do free appraisals.
Okay.
If anybody needs my number, I'll give you my number. I do free appraisals. The thing about it is this is where I say be an expert at valuation. The money is made off the initial valuation on any deal you do. So if you're going into a deal and you're valuating it at this price at the out, this price to build, and this price to acquire, if you mess up the price to acquire, you're lost, and you don't even know it yet. It's going to be 6 months before you know that. So it behooves you to have a friend like me that you can call and say, hey, Christian, I'm looking at this property. What do you think? I'll say, I'll meet you there. We'll have coffee. We'll walk through. We'll talk about it. And again, this is where if you're in the flip game and you don't know what a sheet of plywood costs and you don't know what a 2x4 costs, this is another thing. Go to Home Depot, get a notebook, look at it, update your notebook once a month. Prices change. This is go to Mike's Hardware, go to well, it's not Vetter Lumber anymore, it's Dufresne. Go to Dufresne Lumber, go to Home Depot, go to Lumber 60, what is it, Lumber 64? 84 Lumber.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go there. But go around, find the lowest prices. We were talking about going to Wayfair, right? Go on Wayfair, establish yourself a construction account on Wayfair. Look at your products. Keep yourself abreast of what product costs. Because if you think that you're going to pay 3 year ago prices, You may be pleasantly happy or you may be super disappointed. And super disappointed is going to lose you money. My number one thing about longevity is this. You're going to lose. If you haven't, who's lost on a deal? Okay, good. Excellent. That's like free education. Well, not free education. It's like a college education.
Tuition, for sure. Tuition.
It's not free. But, everybody, you didn't pay $450,000 for a doctorate degree. I paid like about $127,000 for a doctorate degree. But you lose money. You're not going to win on every transaction. And that's part about being of service too. You're not going to make money on every telephone call or every transaction or every relationship. There might be a relationship out there that you never make money on. Have we done a deal?
I think we sold some lots with Harry.
We did. We did a couple of deals. I'll take his call anytime he wants to call me. Anything he sends me, I'll look at it. It may not work. I may pass it on to somebody else.
Yep, you have.
And I've done that. But the deal is this, is if you're in the game, you're going to stay in the game, right? If no one knows your name, no one's ever going to learn your name. And you're not going to win on every deal. You may lose on a couple of deals. It may cost you $1 here, a couple dollars there. In the grand scheme, it's not a big deal, especially if you're looking for longevity. This is a long game. There's no one's making $1 million in real estate in a year. That's not happening. If someone's told you, they're lying. And don't watch HTV and believe them. None of that shit's real. Just so everybody knows, it's not real.
What's your approach on building those partnerships? So you have some that have gone the test of time.
Yeah.
But if I'm new in the market, I'm just getting in as a wholesaler. This is my very first flip on my very first rental property. How do I attract the right partners and how do I vet them? Because I know there are also partnerships that could ruin a career or enhance a career.
There are a lot of partnerships.
What's kind of your framework on approaching new partners?
What I would do is this. Find someone that you trust, that you've listened to. Go to a lot of meetups. Listen to other people that have dealt with that person. Like if you ask Emil, you guys have been to the meetup. Emil, what do you think of Christian? He told you right off the bat. I've been around for a long time. I'm fairly honest. I've lied a couple of times in my life. I'm fairly honest. I'm looking out for everybody's interest, not just my own, because I realize that looking out for other people's interests makes you money. In the long term, I've been doing this for 35 years. By looking out for everybody else's interest, it's made me a lot of money, right? Because I don't expect to win on every transaction. By not expecting to win on every single transaction, you build good relationships. If you can trust someone and they bring something to the table that you don't have, that's somebody that you might want to talk to about being a partner, right? But you've got my partnerships didn't just happen. Like Mike. Mike lives down the street from me. I've known Mike for 4 years now. And my wife says, you're not a nice person. Why do you keep attracting all of these really nice people in your life? And I go, I don't know. But he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's honest. He's an ex-veteran. I trust him. He speaks well of other people. And he's honest and he's highly motivated. I'm not as highly motivated as I used to be. So I like the fact that he's highly motivated and very organized. Look for something in somebody that you don't have. I don't want to use AI. Mike loves AI. I think it's Skynet, but that's another story. Okay. But he wants to embrace the new technology. I'll let him do that. He's got all kinds of energy out there. He's younger than me by 20 years. He wants to make his bones. I'm like, I'll latch onto that. Okay. If you find somebody that's very go-getter and they seem like they want to do a lot and you can get along with them and they're good people, vet them. Maybe they're a good partner. It took me 3 years to vet Mike. And so I was like, okay, I'll do business with Mike. I like Mike. My other partners, 35 years. It was a natural progression. We made a lot of money together over a long period of time. He's a pastor. He's a preacher. He's always had my best interest at heart. I've always had his best interest at heart. We're family. And it's just one of those relationships that progressed over an extended period of time. We've dealt with each other for 30 years, probably $15-20 million, and we've been off by $7. One time he goes, no, that's $7. And I go, that's not $7. He's like, yeah, you owe me $7. I'm like, okay, I'll give you $7.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, people you trust, and I know it's very hard to trust people. Maybe, maybe you go out on a limb one time and you lose. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But find someone that has something that you don't, right? If you're a flipper, find a good contractor, right? If you're not the contractor, find a good contractor. Maybe develop a good relationship with that person. If you're a flipper, develop a good relationship with a wholesaler. And if you're a wholesaler, develop good relationships with contractors and flippers. You know what I mean? That's the name of the game, right? Try to get in as many people as you can. Spread your net wide, and then you'll know who the right people are over 2, 3, 4 years.
Yep. I want to add to that. I think understanding the reason why people are motivated, right? So you told me a quick story at Investor Fest. I asked you why you hustle so much. You got a property management company, lawn service, appraisal, being a realtor. You want to share that story
about the park?
Yeah.
So I had 5 brothers and sisters. My dad was an alcoholic, lost his job. We didn't have a lot of money. We're on welfare and food stamps. Went to the park with a friend of mine, and they had Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I was like, ooh, that looks good. I've never had Kentucky Fried Chicken because my family was from Wales. We were from a different country. We moved here in 1975. I was born here. We moved back, but we didn't do the fried chicken, go take out. My mom made dinner every night. So I was like, wow, that chicken looks really nice. I would like a piece of that chicken. And this guy's mom never offered me a piece of chicken. I was like, fuck. Wanted that piece of chicken. And that stuck with me because I said, I will never be in a position where I'm not going to get the food I want. I want to be able to buy any meal I want to buy at any time I want to buy.
And how old were you when that happened?
It's 11.
And ever since then?
Never forgot it.
Right.
Never forgot it. I worked at restaurants. Well, when you have 5 brothers and sisters and not a lot of money, right, you're not eating real well. Mm-hmm. So I worked at restaurants. I started my first job when my first paying job where I got a paycheck. Besides my paper route, I was 13 years old. I worked at Taco Plaza, cleaning toilets and scrubbing out grease traps because they had good Mexican food. And I got free food. And I ended up working at a lot of restaurants when I was a kid just so I could eat.
Right. So this says that hustle has transcended and translated all the way into this industry right now. So what's your advice to people that need to manage hard times right now? So, I mean, you had a tough time in the beginning, but you maintain a hustle and energy right now.
I'm playing bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to do something great, and that didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
I lost about $500,000 in a partnership with somebody in 2001. I lost 3 houses and $250,000. So I had equity about $250,000 and $250,000. I lost all of that as well, about $500,000 in 2001 in the .com thing. I thought it was a real good deal. This is one of the things that I learned during that, though, was this, is don't get into an industry that you don't know. If you want to be successful in the industry, don't do something that you can't do every facet of. So I know when you're talking about housing, okay, you may not be able to frame, but you sure do know what a framing looks like, right? You know what good framing looks like, and you know what bad framing looks like. You may not be able to plumb, but you can learn really quick on the internet. Anything about doing houses, you can learn on YouTube in 15, 20 minutes. You can Google 100 different things. But doing computers and creating websites and server farms and everything, I didn't know anything about, and I lost everything. So back to the question.
Yeah, the question was, I mean, right now, what is your advice to people that are managing a tough time right now?
Simple. Keep it simple. Pare down as much as you possibly can. I've always been a guy that doesn't I don't like to buy really expensive cars. I don't buy really expensive clothes. I try not to buy anything that's super expensive. I buy TVs 2 years later. You know what I mean? Because a 65-inch TV is $400 now. When you buy the best TV that's 5K, oh, that's $1,200. Well, you can buy that in 2 years. My thing is, real estate is forever, in my opinion. Your house, your home is you. If you have a beautiful house that you enjoy living in, okay, that trumps a really nice car any day of the week. Sleeping in a nice bed with a really nice watertight roof, that trumps a good suit any day of the week. I don't have any Rolexes. I don't have any jewelry. I don't believe in that. I don't think spending money wastefully is prudent. I think for the amount of money that people buy a dually Silverado for $160,000, you could have bought a rental. You could have bought a rental with that, right? Try to pare down as much as you can. You can still eat well with Costco chicken breasts and, buy a tri-tip, cook it. You can cut it into little pieces, a lot of meals. Just be frugal right now. You're going to need to be frugal if you're in this industry, you're going to need to be frugal for the next 3 to 6 months. When I say something bad's coming, you can believe me or you can't. It's up to you. I'm just warning you. I called 2006. I was called crazy by everybody in the mortgage industry in California. I sat there in front of my bosses. We were doing 3,000 loans a month at Greenlight. And I said, this is bad. He goes, what's bad? I go, we're looking at a 30% foreclosure. He goes, it's never happened, Christian. You're crazy. You're insane. I said, I'm betting you money. I said, I'll bet you $5,000 it happens. He paid me the $5,000.
Yeah.
But.
And you went to KFC.
Yeah. No. I like Popeyes better.
Yeah.
Popeyes better. But the thing about it is this, is you live within your means, but definitely travel. Yeah. I know that's way off subject, but definitely travel. If you're going to splurge on one thing in life, splurge on your house and go in places. Other than that, don't spend any money. Don't spend any money. You can when you go places, you'll always have that memory because you can always go back to it later on in your life while you're sitting in your beautiful house. Who cares what you drive? Who cares what you dress like? Because the long and the short of it is this, is real estate is super cyclical. Shit tons of money, no money. Sorry for the language, but shit tons of money, no money. That's the way it goes. There's very, very little like this. Also diversify. If you're a wholesaler, get your real estate, you can't really get a real estate license. Get your appraiser's license, right? Get your inspector's license. If you're a construction guy, maybe get a real estate license. Maybe do a little wholesaling, right? Know multiple fields because there's a lot to know in real estate. There's a ton to know. It's taken me 35 years to know what I know, and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right? So there's multiple ways to skin this cat. So try to learn something new every single day. What I would say, though, is stay up to breast on the cost of goods. Cost of goods can make or break you in the construction industry because you can bid a project and think that plywood is $32 and you get there and it's $46. Well, now you've just lost $12 a sheet or $13 a sheet on your plywood, which is going to hurt your bottom line. And it's the same when you're doing a redo. Know what you're doing beforehand. Take really good appraisal of the property. And when you're looking at it and you're walking through a house, you see a tub that's really beat up, you're going to need to replace that because no one wants a beat up tub. Don't fool yourself into thinking you can get away with cutting corners because that's not the market we're in right now. Is everybody looking for more for less? In a big way, right? Yeah. It's a buyer's market. So you're going to have to give them a better product than what you've given them in the past at a cheaper price.
What are you saying on the financing side? So if I'm a flipper, I'm going out and raising money right now. I'm a realtor. I need my buyers to get qualified. From your experience compared to over time, is it easy to borrow money? Is money cheaper?
It's way harder.
Mm.
Right now is way harder. Going through any type of loan transaction right now is like pulling teeth. And the problem is this, is the last administration made it very difficult. They went to Fannie Mae and they changed up, the extra points for having better credit, or, they've segmented credit scoring now in such a way that you're paying way more for having bad credit than you used to in the past. You're paying way more. Like we're talking like a quarter to 3/8 of a point for having 20 points off of a 720. So you're 780, you're paying 3/8 more. So it's hard, but that's about to, in my opinion, I think that's going to loosen up here pretty soon. We're in a very bad lending time. Hard money's expensive. But again, it's been sitting on the shelf for a while. There's a lot of hard money guys out there right now that haven't put their money on the street. That are looking to put their money into a good deal, right? If you don't know of any good hard money guys, talk to us. We'll find you a good hard money guy. Yeah. You got a good hard money guy. I've got a good hard money guy. There's ways to finance your projects, but again, that's very expensive. Don't do it on credit cards. I know a lot of first-time flippers that'll do it on credit cards. Don't do that. That's a recipe for disaster because that's compounded interest. That's not amortized interest, right?
What's the difference?
Well, compounded interest that's interest on interest. So as your balance, let's say it's $1,000 a month and it's done at 14.9%, but they're only charging you 7% interest per monthly, and you're paying the minimum payment. That extra interest goes onto the balance. Now you're paying interest on that interest next month. That's a compounded interest. Simple amortized interest is a 30-year fixed or a 10-year note where you're paying a set interest rate over an extended period of time. Learn finance. How many of you guys think that you're pretty good at finance? Okay. You should be excellent at it. If real estate is your game, start looking at classes online. There's so many finance classes online that you can understand compound interest, amortization tables, anything that you want to do. 30-year fixed, 10 years, neg-am loans, adjustables, all of these different loans. You've got to be an expert at finance as well as appraising, costs, and everything. In order to be successful in this industry, you can muddle your way through it and fake it till you make it, but you're setting yourself up for making $20,000 instead of $60,000, or losing $10,000 instead of making $10,000, right? And that could be a big deal. When you're working on a project for 6 months, if you make 10 grand instead of losing 10 grand, you might come away with a different attitude, a little bit of an education, and it didn't kill you. And a fair amount of people rose their hand when they've lost on a deal. Right now is not a market where you can lose on a deal. You can lose on a deal in a good market, not in a bad market. In a bad market, that could be catastrophic, right? Because if you were counting on a $10,000 income in order to pay your bills for 2 months and that doesn't come out, now you're white knuckling it. Now you're going to do something stupid. I've seen it happen. And that's where a lot of people are. That's when I say things are fine until they go bad. There's a lot of people white knuckling it out there right now. And I know this because, again, when you're dealing with 100 people in rent and you see the patterns emerge, it's the same as patterns I saw in lending. It's the same patterns I saw in appraising. When you see a pattern emerging, you pay attention. When you see the pattern where, Laura over here, she made her mortgage or her rent payment every time on the 1st. Then it went to the 5th. Now it's on the 10th. And Laura's not returning your calls anymore. Right? When that starts happening with 20 different people, then you start realizing that there's bad things afoot.
Yeah, we're about to take questions from the audience, but I want to ask your opinion. you've been through all these different cycles. What red flags are you seeing in the cycle that we're in right now that's leading you to believe that something is coming up from all the other cycles that you've worked through?
Length of time on market, but that can be said because there's a lot of bad builds out there that have that cost too much or were poorly conceived to begin with, right? Then there's the lack of new builds that are out there, and there's a lot of older homes that are going on the market now, right? Like beginner level homes, like 170, 160. There weren't this volume of these homes a while ago. So when you start seeing that, that's your working class paycheck to paycheck people that have been in the home for 6 or 7 years that are now really white knuckling. We're going to have to sell this house or we're going to lose it. And you look at national foreclosure rate. And luckily for me, I have brothers and friends that are in positions of knowledge for big lenders, Loan Depot, Rocket, etc. They work for them. And I'm like, how's it looking? And they're like, not good. Really bad. Mortgages are down.
Measured by what? Default rate?
Default rate, time on books. So they're having, again, I'm sorry, but it gets, a qualified mortgage or a QM mortgage is something that that they can sell to Fannie Mae. A lot of these mortgages, for some reason or other, all of a sudden are not QM mortgages, so they can't sell them. So they're holding on to a lot of mortgages. And they're seeing the payment schedules on those mortgages start to falter, right? So we're seeing a lot of faltering in the mortgage industry. You're not going to know this, but I will, because I've been in the mortgage industry. I got a lot of friends that are a lot of big companies, but the mortgage industry is not doing very well right now.
Yeah.
So that being said, again, wholesalers, flippers, etc. Am I being recorded?
Yeah, you got a few cameras.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Be ruthless. Be ruthless right now. This is the time to, unfortunately, take advantage of people in bad positions. That I'm not saying take advantage. I'm just saying, hey, offer them a lowball. Lowball. As many offers as you can put out there, the better right now, because people are going to start taking them, because they're going to get rid of their house and their neighbor isn't. I hate to say it, but it's an opportune time to buy property, because you can hammer on people. Unfortunately, I'm the materialistic weasel of the group, but I wait for bad times. I buy a lot of properties in bad times, and this is that time.
Yeah. Questions from the audience? Zoro.
Thank you. Masterful presentation. I'm so glad I came here tonight. Question for you is, what's your most optimistic forecast for the next 1 year and the most pessimistic forecast? And finally, your gut feeling about New Orleans market.
I like the New Orleans market because I think it's a great, consistent market. The competition in a lot of other markets is fierce, and it's dominated by larger companies. So like in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Houston, Dallas, you're going to go up against a lot of big money. People like BlackRock, people like Vanguard, State Street, etc. They have subsidiary companies that they fund that are in those areas, that they dominate those areas because they have deeper pockets. New Orleans is like a little kept secret where it's a local company, local guys. So I like the New Orleans market. I still think there's a lot of money to be made here based off two things. There's a lot of dilapidated houses here. We have a lot of hurricanes. Okay? So there's a consistent flow of houses that have been ruined. That's a good thing for our industry. I think next January, February is going to be gangbusters. I think it's going to be bad for till November. The Fed is going to lower rates, which doesn't lower mortgage rates, but what it does do, it gives the overall perception that rates are lower, and then the bond market starts to falter and it goes down, and then interest rates will go down. When you see 5.5%, we're going to have a very robust market. So right now we're at 6 3/4. It was going down slightly over the last couple of months. It's gone up the last couple of days, but it's going to slightly roll down. But when you see 5.5, it's going to be a very robust market, because 5.5 is a fairly decent rate for people. People feel like they're getting a good rate. And just so you know, 5.5 is excellent. We should never have been at 2.5 and 3%. I like it because I got some good mortgages at that rate, but we should never have been that low. It's an asinine rate. Banks can't make money. You're only borrowing from Fannie and Freddie. No banks out there lending at 2.5%. So everything's going, for the overall economy, everything's going to one spot. And that's Fannie and Freddie. And that's how you get really tight underwriting guidelines.
And you pessimistic out forecast.
Pessimistic, it doesn't get better till February.
And after February?
Maybe it gets a little bit better during the spring and then gets really good in May. But I see it before then.
Yeah. Good question. So, Tyler.
Great information, by the way, but I wanted to ask if you could, you talked about how it took you 3 years to vet your partner for you guys to go ahead and do business, but can you share with us maybe out of your lens, or what are some of the red flags to pay attention to why not to partner with this guy or lady when you're talking business relationship with partner?
One of my red flags is a lot of flash. I don't do flash. I don't like flash. Flash tells me that person wants to waste money. Long conversations where there's different answers to the same question. Inconsistencies. Not being able to get a hold of somebody. Oh, I'm sorry, I've been out of pocket for a week. No good. So you want someone that you can call at 8 o'clock that'll either answer or say, hey, I'm busy with my family, I'll call you first thing in the morning. Right? I can respect being busy with your family at 8 o'clock. I would prefer if you picked up the phone. But that's me. You call me at 9:30, I'm picking up my phone. 9:31, I'm in bed. Right? But I'm picking up my phone till I'm going to sleep. You want to make sure that someone that you can contact, someone that you can. You seem like a pretty with it guy. You can tell when people are lying to you, right? Someone that tells you a story that they've never lost in life. You don't want to be their partner. I want losers. I want someone that's lost 25 times and learned how to win. Because I've been doing a lot of things in my life. I used to fight. I lost a lot. Won a lot, but I lost a lot. Anybody that says, oh, I'm undefeated, I don't want to talk to you. Because they've got nothing to learn. Right? So you want somebody that can teach you something, that has a different skill set than you. If you sit down and you get in the car and they jot down what time you got in the car and they're writing notes about your conversation, that's a partner, because I don't write notes, right? So try to figure out somebody, or he says, hey, I know how to fix this, or he's got some different skills, or hey, I have a guy that I know that can fix this, and he comes in and he fixes it, and he has a good network. I have a great network. My network is fantastic because I keep using the same guys, and then I use more guys, and I use more guys. But my number one thing with all of my people, this is my number one credo in life. Take away one thing in life is, if you owe somebody a dime, you give them that dime the next day. So if you're talking to someone, the guy goes, hey, that guy didn't pay me. Especially in this industry, right? Because there's only a lot of money going to be changing hands. Make sure that someone that does not have a reputation of not paying people. Make sure that they're honest. And you've got your own barometer to figure out honesty. That's my opinion, is make sure that you can trust them.
Yep. Next question. Going back, we're about to wrap up. When we talked on the phone, the question I had for you was, how do people make money in this industry and stay around? You mentioned 3 things. One was always answer your phone. Number 2 was be willing to do what other people are not willing to do. I forgot the third one.
Be of service.
Be of service. And that's
So,
how you started off.
These are the three things. I would love to teach a class in college. It would be a really quick and really easy class. I've been doing this for 35 years. The number one thing that has served me better than anything I could ever say, and this would be the class. I'd take everybody's phone number at the beginning of the class, and then I'd call them at 8 o'clock at night and see if they answered. You failed. Answer your phone. And maybe I'm old school. I'm fairly old school. Do not tell me for quicker service, text me. Don't do that. Because you know what? I'm calling you for a reason. I'm calling you not to text you. I could have texted you to begin with. I want to talk to you. I have a question. I want to feel good about what you're telling me. Maybe I have a nuanced question that I don't want to text. Don't do that. If you have it on your voicemail right now, please, when you leave this meeting right now, get rid of it. That's amateur hour. And can you tell it annoys me? It annoys me.
Yeah.
Because if you can text, you can say, hey, I will call you back in 5 minutes. I am in a meeting. And if someone calls you and you don't answer, that's your thing. I'm in a meeting. I will call you back in 5 minutes. And you call them back. Answer your phone. Call people back. If you've got more than who's got more than 3 voicemails right now? Did they happen while you were here?
I got more.
Okay. It's just my thing. This is my pet peeve, and it's one of the reasons why I think I've been successful in life is because people know they can call me and I'll answer the phone. It's a big thing. Believe it or not, it is huge. You ask all the people I deal with why they deal with me. 8 of them will say, it's because he picks up his phone every single time I call. Like, I got a call yesterday at 6:30 a.m. I answered the phone. Guess what was happening at 6:30 a.m. yesterday? There was a house on fire. So I got to the house and I called my owner and I said, hey, your house is on fire. And he's like, oh my God. So he gets there. But I was there already. Do you think that's going to be good for my relationship with him? Why? Because I answered my phone at 6:30 in the morning. I know it may sound stupid, but it ain't.
And
be of service.
Yeah.
Be of service. Where was I? I was at the house, kicking down the door, going, oh God, we got a fire in the house. And then the fire department came in and took over. But I was there and I was like, hey. So today I went by, I picked up the stove that blew up and all of the shit that was out front. I put that on the trailer and took it away for him. And then tomorrow I'm going to meet him there. We're going to plan out how to fix this. So how much money am I going to make out of this? Any guesses how much money I'm making on this? There you go. How much money am I really going to make on this? He's got 22 properties.
Yep. And let's end. Tell us about ARPN. What's the difference?
ARPN Realty, we are a real estate company that has a little bit different view of how to do business. We want to help people grow in real estate investment. We really like to talk to people about buying doubles and rentals and property management, as well as buying their own homes and selling their own homes. But we're big into real estate investment. We like to help people get their first start in buying a double, running up the property ladder, maybe buying a couple of properties that they might be able to flip because we have the expertise on flipping, etc. We're here to help people build a real estate empire from the ground up without making mistakes. So we've made all the mistakes for you. So that's what we like to do. We like to evaluate good deals for people, put them in a good deal, help them rebuild it, maybe keep it as a rental, maybe sell it, maybe it's their own home. But we're willing to help people renovate at no cost. But we'll help you. I'm going to give you all of the free advice that I possibly can with no strings.
Yeah. Well, everybody put your hands together for Christian. That was awesome. You'll be.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. Really appreciate it.
Steve, you come up for needs and wants. You gonna stick around? If anybody got any questions for you, Christian, in the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Question conversely, I got a property I'm selling, it's a strong rental in a solid neighborhood, X zone. Good property for someone that wants to buy something and hang on to it. And I'm wrapping up renovation. And like everybody in this room has a different niche. But I'm sure this is something that at least half these people have faced. In dealing with people doing work for you, or maybe trying to maybe order a couple of built-in wall ovens, something that simple. How do you convey, or how do you get these people to call back? But what you just said is like,
Oh, are you having problems with subs calling back and doing work for you?
I've been trying to order a pair of wall ovens. That way my kitchen is all renovated for the last 6 months. And I have this stupid, hard-headed fixation with buying with a local company. All right?
Okay.
Home Depot and Lowe's, they're not going away. They're going to be open tomorrow. And it's, and I'm thinking, you know something?
Have you been to Bon Marché?
I called them about the ovens.
Okay.
And I'm brain dead trying to order this stuff, but either they couldn't get what I specifically needed, you know.
Okay, if you want, well, after this here, I'll give you my number to my appliance person over at Bon Marché. Her name's Robin. She'll come out, they'll measure it for you and make sure you get your right oven. Okay? That's no problem.
And when I'm running across, when I like go to these places in person, instead of kind of like what I need, all right, they want to sell what they can get a hold of.
Yeah. No, I get you. So that might be a two-tiered problem. It might be a problem of is maybe you might need somebody like a good carpenter to change the opening slightly and then, go to Bon Marché and find out what they got. Or there's multiple different places. But we'll hook up after this. I'll get you some numbers.